Hello, geeks and ghouls. When it comes to Richard Laymon, some people may claim that The Traveling Vampire Show is his best novel. I'm not quite sure. In my opinion, and until I reread that book, Richard Laymon reached his peak in the cellar, and then he got trapped into the fandom that this book created, and after that he had to write sleazy splatters for perverts like me. I won't complain. But on his later books, like this one, or Night in the Lost of October, which I reviewed a couple of years ago, and it was his next book and the final book published. No, actually that was the final book published before he died, and in the Lost of October was published after he died. It's kind of fascinating to read it because in a way it feels that Richard Laymon, he wants to write something different. He has different ideas and different tastes, but he has to conform to what his fanbase is expecting of him. So it's like more ambitious and more interesting novels that have a lot of nudity and violence shoehorned into them in order to make them Richard Laymon books. And this one I was about 100 pages in. It's a chunky one. It's 438 pages in this format. So I guess in a paperback it's 500 pages or something. It's a chunky book. And I was 100 pages in and I was like, it's like Boy's Life, only it's more horny. It's not as good as Boy's Life, alright? It has its drawbacks, but there is this sense of 50s Americana, of innocence, of nostalgia, of children going out into the summer and having fun adventures. So we have this small town where we have our three protagonists, Dwight, Rusty, and Slim. And they see this poster that a traveling vampire show comes to town, and they have to go on a plane next to the town and watch it at midnight. Only they're 16 or 15 or 14, or they're very young, alright? So they have to go there and watch the show, and the entire book is their day until they get to the show and see the beautiful Valeria, who is a vampire and is very sexy, apparently. So they go into town to see if the show is there and maybe get a glimpse of Valeria and see if she's beautiful. And they get attacked by a dog and they get trapped. And they're kind of interesting as characters. Dwight is this very Laymon-esque. He's basically the nice guy, but he's horny and dumb. And he's horny for Slim, the girl in the group, and also he's horny for his brother's wife. And Rusty is the fat, dumb one who is a bit of a coward and maybe a little creepy and horny for everybody, I guess. And Slim is this tomboy that Dwight kind of likes, has this troubled life, like it's there's some disturbing stuff about her past, right? I won't go full spoiler. So they're attacked by a dog, they get stranded, and then they get Dwight has to go and get help, and things are happening all the time, and there is misadventure after misadventure in this book, and a lot of the plot happens because the main characters are too stupid. And that's always something bad. It's a sort of a Laymonism. Like, the main characters do stupid stuff because they're horny teenagers, and the plot only works because of the stupid stuff they do. And there's a lot of sense of what's happening, and then some red herrings here and there, and characters coming in and their own. And Lim, who is the wife of Dwight's older brother, and kind of fond for him. She sees him as a little brother, but he's kind of getting turned on by her. And of course there is Dwight, Slim flirt, and also there is Rusty's younger sister who has a crush on Dwight, and of course Laymon. There is going to be some sleaze. Basically every woman will lose her clothes at some point. But that's an interesting part, because yes, I mean, our characters will ogle at naked women, but our protagonist Dwight is not horny for all of them. which I guess is character development, and also it's never perverted or too sleazy in the way it's described. I mean, I've noticed that in Endless Night and also on this one. At his earlier books, Richard Laymon was kind of problematic and he was sexualizing his female characters, even though his female characters at the same time they had personalities and agency. But at some point, he made a distinction between his character sexualizing women versus the narrative voice sexualizing women. And he's not doing that here, too. And it's kind of interesting. So I think that the pacing was kind of here and there. I feel that a lot of the middle and afterwards Richard Laymon books, they're kind of padded. I think that a lot of his earlier books are ending too quickly, and then at some point in the 90s he's writing longer books, probably because that's what the publishers want, and they're kind of padded. Here the padding is not that annoying. It's like, yes, it's slow, but it's a slow burn, and there is this sense of nostalgia and alright, yes, the character is being stupid to get the plot forward or make more plot elements happen out there, but there's this sense of this roller coaster of emotions throughout the book and constant misadventures and twists and turns happening, which keep the pace kind of okay, not too fast, not too slow. I don't know if it's the best Richard Laymon, but it's definitely a good one, and I think that you kind of see where he could go if he was not trapped into his sleazy horror guy that he became, and maybe you want to break apart from it. And it's another of his books that is standing for Ayn Rand. Like, yes, he's a conservative, alright. You kind of know that if you read his books, but he was really grandstanding for Ayn Rand in this one and also Night in the Lost of October. And I think that it's an interesting read. It's definitely one of the best. I believe that was the book that Criminoli read and said that he's actually writing romances, and I can see that. There is a big romantic plot in between the vampire stuff that's very sweet, and it's quite well written for a Laymon book, I guess, and it really toes the line to not being creepy. It's actually wholesome. There are creepy moments, of course. There is gore and needless nudity and all this kind of stuff. It's Richard Laymon, but they're kind of packed towards the ending. Things go crazy. There's the stock Richard Laymon maniacs throughout the book, and misadventures coming in and out. Like at some point in time, we find out that Slane is an excellent archer out of the blue. It's like this book could use 2 or 3 drafts more, but it is what it is. It's a pulp book that is trying to do more than that, and I can appreciate that and enjoy that. I think that it really fits the coming of age horror aspect along with the sleazy splatter aspect, and it works for both situations quite well. It's not a Stephen King, it's not a Roger McCammon, but we don't expect that. It's a Richard Laymon novel, and you get what you expect from a Richard Laymon novel, even though it's a bit more refined. But it also has a lot of the trappings, a lot of the flaws, and the tropes. And also, the word ramp is mentioned once, or maybe twice, in the entire book. Which, I don't know, it really confuses me. I mean, there is not this annoying habit of Richard Laymon to repeat one word over and over, like he does in a lot of his books, and I was surprised by that. So yeah, the Traveling Vampire Show, it won a Bram Stoker Award the year it came out, and I think it's worth it. I haven't read the other books that year, but I think that this book is award-worthy. I've seen worse books get Bram Stoker Awards, to be honest. And you know what, it's kind of a recognition for his life and work. If only he had lived longer, maybe we would have seen some really interesting books out of him. Maybe if he had to outgrow the I'll write some sleazy splatter stuff to sell. But I don't know, if you read this book, tell me your opinion. and there's going to be a review for the second book in this omnibus, Dreadful Tales. And let me tell you what, this book should be called Dreadful Tales because it's dreadful.